Hello, this is iMind. Welcome to my channel. Um, got another video about D&D Beyond and how to do something on the character sheet. Apologize for speaking a bit low or sound a bit weird. It is currently 20 to 6 in the morning and I haven't slept. Story of my life. But anyway, let's get into it. This is going to be a video about Rage, as in the Barbarian feature, as you see in here. This came out from the forums. We have on the forums, someone posted just today. As a Barbarian, it would be nice to have a button for applying rage. So it's something they do often. Unfortunately, the character sheet doesn't have temporary effects in place, which means you can't apply things like mage armor or shield spell or anything like that at this moment. So we need workarounds. That's fine. There's two ways the two biggest ways of doing temporary things is either using feats or magic items. Feats are usually better to do if you are wanting something that has a more long-term or persistent effect, especially if they are passive things. Whereas if you are going to be using something that's a bit more toggleable, something that you want to turn off and on a lot, then using a magic item is better, just because it's easier to do that. You'd also prefer to use a feat if you want the feature to create like an action. That would be like a rollable action on your sheet, because items can't do that. It is a bit of a pain to add and remove the feat though to turn it on or off. You have to go to your manage. You have to go features and traits, manage item, manage feats, add and remove it. Whereas with an item, you can just have it there and just turn it on and off. But it is what it is. So yes, let's get into it. So the best way for rage would be a magic item. So because then you can just turn on and off very often, it's got basic effects. The thing you're going to have a problem with is that because this is go away. Magic on strength checks and strength saving throws, that's pretty static. And your resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, also static. Unfortunately, this one, when you make a melee weapon attack using strength, the damage increases based on the table, which is here. It starts off at 2, and as you level up, it will eventually progress from 3, 4, 5, and eventually 6 extra damage per attack. Which is a bit of a nuisance because you can't scale items, and while you can scale feats, it is only based off of overall character level and not the specific class level. The only thing that can scale based on class level would be a class feature. And that would not be. You can make this as a class feature, but it would be something you can turn on and off. There would be no option to do that, so you'd have to literally edit your subclass each and every time, which would be a nightmare. But it's fair enough. I mean, the best way I would say, just in case you wanted to use the same feat for the same item, rather, for multiple barbarian characters you might make, it would be to create multiple versions. You'd have one that do 2 extra damage, one that do 3 extra damage, one that do 4, one that do 5, one that do 6. I do apologize if I stumble up my words. I do have a stutter, and normally I try and think it more thoroughly through my head to prevent that. But I'm a bit tired, and it's harder for me to do that. So I do apologize, but hopefully you'll understand me. So pretty great of a version, but don't worry, you don't have to really create it once. You need to just copy it, simple, and just edit. But there you go. So let's get started. Let's go into it. We'll use the screen. So if we go to collections, Hover over. There you go. Don't happen there. My brain glitched. Right hand side under Homebrew, we can then choose create magic item. In this case, for the first one, we'll just create from scratch. And here, we will just choose something like Rage +2. This is so that we can more easily identify whether it's the +2 version, as in it does +2 damage, or the one that does +4 damage, whatever. This is just easier. Version, not necessary, but I'll put 1 anyway. Rarity, I always put Artifact because it brings it to the top of the sheet. It doesn't really matter, but it also makes it nice, orange and neutral. Base item type we'll leave as item. I don't actually know if you can see these. When I click on these drop downs, it should show options. I don't think it actually shows up in the recording, I'm afraid. And I have no way of making it do so. I don't know if that is specific to Chrome or not, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. It's default item, you can just leave it at that. Under magic item type, the first one will be wondrous item. You can just go with that. Easier. And here in description, we'll just choose applies the benefits of Barbarian's raid feature. Bonus damage is +2. You could copy stuff from here, but literally no point because you will already have it on your character for your barbarian. Like if I go to a character here, under features and traits, right away you see it there, rage, and how many uses. So you'd be using that for the reference of what it's actually doing. This item is only just so you can apply the effects more easily when it's in effect. You know what I mean? So we don't really need to go into any more detail than that. Create magic item. Don't need to bother with basic information or additional information. It's not something we're going to publish or anything like that. You go straight to modifiers. Add a modifier. This is where we will start to add the effects that we wanted to use. Click the wrong thing. The first one is advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. So this would be modifier type, choose advantage. In the modifier subtype, the first one that literally comes up is ability checks, but we need strength saving throw. Strength checks. My brain is so not working. So you probably can't see it, but if you go down to S's, there will be one for strength ability checks. There. That's it. You don't need to add anything else, just save. And then we can add the second modifier. So click add a modifier again. And again, there'll be advantage. And this time, I'm going to type in this way. Type in strength, and it should give you the options of ability checks, attacks, and saving throws. In this case, we would choose strength saving throws. And then just save. And that's added. So that's been added. The second one, the one that will change, is going to be the extra damage. It's actually simple enough to do. Yeah. Add a modifier. This will be damage. I know it'll be. You will see things like bonus, then damage, then advantage. You may think to do bonus, but it's actually better to do damage because of the way the system works. Under the modifier subtype, you will see a list of all the different damage types like acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, force, lightning, lumber. There will be an option for melee weapon attacks. There you go. Now, there's no way to restrict it specifically to strength-based weapons. So you'd have to do that in your head rather than have the sheet do it for you. But to be fair, not many barbarians would use a dex weapon because, and there's not much point having your rage in effect when using a dex weapon because it has no benefit. Or you might have a DM that allows it to affect any weapon anyway, which makes sense. But anyway, we'll just put a fixed damage, a fixed value 2. Save. And that's done. And then finally, the resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Add a modifier. Being good resistance. And now, bludgeoning. There is an option for like bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. That's not going to be relevant here because the resistance applies to any source, magical or otherwise. So just go with bludgeoning. Save. Add modifier. Resistance. And slashing. There. And save. And last but not least, add modifier. Resistance. Piercing. Save, and there we go. And that's it, that's done. So make sure you always click this save changes here. And that is now good to go. So if we go to our character sheet, we can go to inventory. Oh, first off, make sure the homebrew is turned on. If you click manage, and then character settings, homebrew is the top toggle here. Make sure it is set to on, which will show in red or on the right hand side. Then we can go to manage inventory. Load. Just type in your rage. Not show up. And because it's artifact, it does show in this nice little sort of red, orangey, dark, whatever color this is. You can see on the screen. It makes it easier. And we can add this. And so let's test it. So we can see here we've got the Great Axe equipped. My character is a level 1 character with a +2 strength. So his Great Axe does 1 to 12 +2. So when we want to rage, we can go into our sheet, we can choose to just grab it. And there you go. We can see then in our weapons, it now does +4. We can see under defenses that we have now, this is an ASMR, wherever you press it. It's already got radiant and necrotic. You can also see it now lists bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing with the Irish as for resistance. You can see we now have advantage on strength there. And then we can see that any of the ability checks based off strength, which is really just athletics, is literally the only one, but that now has an advantage next to it. So yeah, the effects apply, and when you don't want to use it anymore, go into inventory, and turn it off, and then it all goes away. An extra tip that I will mention is because you can always just leave it in your equipment, but then if, like me, you prefer your equipment and stuff to be a bit more organized, go to manage inventory, and then add a container. The most basic one is an Allen's box. I like to use the Allen's box because it automatically has a weight of 0, so you don't have to customize it. And yeah, there is no upper limit to how much you can put into it, and the weight is already 0 no matter what. We can then customize. This is entirely necessary, but it's just helpful. Notes, ignore desk. Use for this is just so we can use it for our workarounds and stuff. So I will name this something special, but first I will use an emoticon. Let's see. So I like to use the star, explosion, burst, whatever it is, collision. Well, it looks like a special effect. We'll use that. And then special. And you'll see that we now have a special container. And the reason why I do that is so that I can add this to it or move it to it. So that makes it more easier. So if I know I want to have a special workaround or something like that, a temporary effect to apply, I can go to this list and they'll all be here. Now we list it alphabetically, but then you can also choose the rarity to organize. Like rage is going to be used so often that by having it as an artifact, it will always appear at the top. The next ones will be the very rarest, then the rarest, then the uncommon. So it's there. It makes it easier for you to find it. And that's it. The next step, of course, is that what happens if you level your character up? That damage is going to increase. So, let's do that. What's the next level stage? It would be third level. It'll then increase to. I looked at the wrong column. The extra rate bonus is this column, so it's +2, up to maximum +4. Yeah. So let's just say that we leveled our character up to 9th level, so then increase to +3. What we can do, let's level this character up just so. There you go. Also, we're going to make choices. You can see that the item obviously won't change anything because it's still a set to +2. We can change that. We can. So what we can do is go to create a new magic item. Over here, choose in this box, click, and then choose. You can see where it is and stuff. Choose when you made the rage +2, and then click the top create one. We're not creating from scratch. We're just creating a copy. There you go. When I say copy of rage 2, we can remove the copy part off, and then add this to +3. Save that first. Then we can now go into our modifiers. You then affect the one that adds the damage. So here we see the damage minimum weapon attacks. We can just click edit. Change this to 3. Save. Then save changes button. So now with our character, we can go to the inventory. And the special one, we can deliver it and then delete it. And then we can choose to. So now we have the +3. Choose to add it into special. We click it. See that now this is increased to +5 instead of +4. And there you go. And you won't have to repeat it for any future Barbarians you make either. So there you go. That is everything. I hope this was useful. Have a good day. Bye.